Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Day-Date, reference 118135, 36 millimeters in rose gold. Two dates come to mind when I'm looking at this watch. The first is 1956, when this watch debuted as the first ever automatic winding watch with both a jump date and a jump day of the week indication. Logically named the Day-Date, it's better known as the President because it was worn by every American president from John F. Kennedy through George Bush Sr. And the bottom line is, it's had no need to change. It debuted as a fluted bezel precious metal automatic Day-Date watch in 1956, and today it remains a fluted bezel precious metal automatic jump Day-Date watch. But the year 2013 at Baselworld did bring some noted changes in the form of all new colors for a more expressive, revitalized look. Now, the colors ranged from the silly to the sublime. We saw orange and pink in one case, but we also saw traditional high horology colors, including a standout blue and this exquisite chocolate combination of metallic soleil pattern, rose gold watch, metallic soleil dial, with beautiful corresponding brown alligator strap. This watch, the word that comes to mind is warm, humane, endearing, with tremendous character. This watch has a lot of classical appeal. It doesn't play so much on extrovert colors as just a beautiful coordinated color palette. And with the gilt style printing on the dial and the corresponding rose gold applied indices and rose gold hands with fluted bezel, it's really got a gorgeous, fully composed quality to it, missing in so many modern references from Rolex. This feels all of a piece, like one man designed it from lug to lug. On the wrist, it's a 36 millimeter Day-Date, so you pretty much have a good sense of the look, but with a strap, and we don't always see Rolex Oysters on straps, it really changes the character of the watch. More elegant, a softer edge, more formal, I would say, but also more versatile, because on my wrist, which is 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters, this thing feels awesome. It is the bee's knees in terms of ergonomics. Now, Rolex has tried to change the Day-Date as little as possible because of the awesome reputation of the piece. When your watch is informally and persistently called the President by everyone, virtually ignoring its proper name, you've already got street cred, and the President didn't need to change. The nuances are what makes this watch more than just an imposing timepiece. A beautiful timepiece is what we get with this combination of chocolate dial and fluted rose gold bezel on a rose gold case with the crock. Not only does it feel great, but when we move inboard from the crock, you can see this little rose gold flanking insert. When I talk about how you're not used to seeing Oyster watches on a strap, that's often because straps don't conform as seamlessly as the traditional end-link Rolex Oyster, Jubilee, and President bracelets. And it is in fact that President bracelet, the 3-link circular link design, that we're used to seeing on this watch. So to see it on a strap, and it is a gorgeous bolstered gator strap, is unusual. The case gap is eliminated with that partial end link insert that removes the gap between the end of the strap and the beginning of the case flank. So it still has that seamless look that you would expect with a bracelet, but integrated on a strap. Now, moving in from the lugs, which are quite spare, there's none of the super case volume that you find on the modern Oyster sports watches. These are still very delicate lugs, very tapered, not just longitudinally, but also from side to side. You can see how they have tumble home across the side down to their flanks. They really do taper downward to meet the wrist in several dimensions. So this is also an excellent watch for slipping under a dress cuff. You can see just how low profile it is on the wrist. Now, the bezel, traditional Rolex fluted, rose gold, it glitters almost like a gem because those multiple facets, and I'm going to move it through the light here so you can get that full quality, really electrify in direct light. They add an element of visual interest that's missing in the rotating bezel sports watches, as well as the smooth bezel Milgauss, smooth bezel Day-Dates, smooth bezel Datejusts. If you're going to go with a precious metal Rolex, fluting more often than not, especially if it's colored gold, is the way to go because of that jewel-like radiance that it adds. Moving inboard from that fluted bezel, you can see a vintage-style chapter ring with small inset Roman numerals. Really adds elegance to the watch and aids the visual transition from the bezel onto that soleil metallic brown dial. And again, because it's a gilt print, that gold style, matching the graphics on the center of the dial at 6 and 12, it's very warm and consonant, so there's a coherence there that's nicely keyed to the applied rose gold indices, as well as the rose gold hands and the 5-point rose gold applied Rolex coronet at 12. Another nice feature is that this watch has a lot of the characteristics of a sports watch, despite being a dress watch par excellence. Now, I want to focus on the amount of luminova on those indices, as well as the hands, and the 100-meter water resistance rating of this twin-lock Oyster case. You're not used to seeing full-blown dress watches with abundant nighttime lume, and yet this one glows quite brilliantly. It's not token lume. It's usable, functional lume with people who have human eyes. I know that I don't have the Superman perceptive qualities to see those indistinct dots of lume that are sometimes applied on dress watches or borderline sports dress watches. Not so here. This glows like a torch. Compared to anything but a Submariner or a Panerai Luminor, this thing is an absolute beacon at night. And the 100-meter water resistance means that realistically, if you are enjoying this watch during casual times at the shore or poolside, and either you or it falls in, it's more than good to go. No problems whatsoever, just keep the crown screwed down. I've got it out, but I have a purpose there. Now the watch features that gorgeous Soleil metallic brown dial, and I want to rotate it through the light so you can see the light playing across the subtle grain. That is a textured material. It's not a matte, it's not flat. It does have direction, grain, and texture to it, and as a result, just like the bezel, it changes as the light cants across it, and naturally you have the features of that classic date and day indication. And that brings me to the movement, which is a Rolex double quickset automatic winding 3155. In-house movement 50-hour power reserve. It features something that this watch remarkably didn't have throughout the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and most of the 80s, which is the double quickset. Now, I can easily adjust the watch to show today's day and today's date. Again, bi-directional setting, quickset of the day as well as the date, so it's a double quickset mechanism. It's also a COSC rated chronometer with hacking seconds, so when I pull the crown fully, I can stop the seconds and synchronize the watch precisely to a reference time. Bi-directional winding, so there's none of that unweighted unidirectional winding that you sometimes get, usually on Valjoux 7750 based movements. This one is smooth with Teflon coated reversing wheels, so not only do you not feel the rotor winding and not winding as it freewheels in one direction and then loads up in the other, but regardless of which direction it turns, those silky smooth Rolex pink colored Teflon reversing wheels have almost no perceptible friction, no perceptible whine for you to hear. Inaudible, smooth on the wrist, absolutely seamless. And yet, it is the set-it-and-forget-it watch, with 50 hours of power reserve, far more than the industry standard 42, an automatic jump day and jump date, hacking seconds, chronometer rated by the COSC, and significantly, as a Rolex, that COSC-rated movement is then cased up and tested again so that it still meets COSC standards before it leaves the factory. Not everyone ensures that their watches still meet COSC after the bare-tested movement has been put into a case and screwed into place. That does change the timing characteristics of the watch. Rolex sweats the details and makes sure it's still a chronometer when you get it. Free sprung, that means the index can't accidentally move if you shock it. Again, a little bit of that sports watch pedigree shining through with a full balance bridge and a Breguet overcoil hairspring in anti-magnetic parachrome blue proprietary metal alloy. Rolex ensures all that basically means to you is that the watch is very shock resistant, thermally resistant, positionally resilient. So pretty much no matter what you do, as long as you're not going beyond the pale and spelunking with this thing or diving into sub-zero waters, this watch is going to keep outstanding representative time as a COSC chronometer. Again, double quickset, completely in-house, a beautiful movement to accompany a beautiful and classic timepiece. And this is a particularly memorable rendition of the Day-Date. There have been many precious metal watches in the Day-Date chronology since 1956. There have been many memorable dials, but so rarely does a combination of strap, bezel, case, and dial come together almost like lightning in a bottle to produce a truly classic, I would even say instant classic reference. But this Rolex Day-Date 118135, 36 millimeters in 18 karat rose gold is incredibly warm. I can almost feel the heat coming off of it, but it's an emotional warmth. I jest, but this watch truly does have incredible emotional impact and charm in the flesh. You may not be able to see it right away, but you can go to our website, Watch You Want, and check out our high-resolution images of this Rolex Day-Date 118-135 36 millimeters in rose gold. Let that sink in. Let those pictures sink in. And I'm confident this beautiful rose gold Day-Date will be the watch you want.